with hidden civilizations, they when they're in the game room, you can't see what your opponent picked out of their 7 civs they've chosen. So here we are. Here's the civ draft. Rentar, thank you for the sub. And these are the global bans. So we have Incas and Huns, the global bans. Hearttt versus Liereyy here. And this is just the action before the action, because this is all very important, depending on how strong your opponent is, what civs they like, what civs you don't like facing. So Mayans and Incas globally banned, Malians and Huns. This is my favorite part of this semifinal, because we've seen so many of these civs that are getting banned throughout the early stages of the tournament. So I want to see how players will fare with other civs. Now I imagine Berbers is going to be banned at some point. I'm not surprised that every single Meso civilization was banned. You see how Hearttt banned Aztecs, Mayans, Incas. He does not like those eagles. Yeah, Indians is banned. Let's ban the Berbers for once, guys. Let's ban the Berbers. We don't want to see any more Berbers in this tournament. Ban them. Well, he's obviously thinking about it. Because if he doesn't ban Berbers here, he bans Burmese. Okay, so if Liereyy doesn't ban Berbers, then it goes to the civ pick, which means that I believe Hearttt starts with the pick. Yeah, he bans Berbers. Okay, so now we get the pick. So there are the 8 bans. Let's see what Hearttt picks here. Now, whatever he picks, Liereyy cannot pick later on. So this is a very important order. Heartt's still thinking about it.
Coming home from the clinic to T90 stream. I like your full-time schedule. T90 woo.
Ankysaur, thank you for 10 months, man. You got here. Perfect time. We're doing the civ draft right now. So I'm going to leave this minimized throughout the games. It is a best of 7. And I'm just going to be able to look back at this at each game. Yeah, Ethiopians, the chat mentioned. Ethiopian's the first pick from Liereyy. Now he gets the second pick. Yeah, they banned all the best civilizations, which is the exciting aspect. So these are civs we have seen before. Yeah, Britons, Celts, Ethiopians, Magyars. But there's cool matchups here. Like, do you want Britons against Celts? Probably not. I still think Britons is top tier, though. I think all the 4 civs there are the best that from the remaining civs. Maybe we will see something like Slavs, Japanese, Goths, Franks. Yep. Okay, there's Franks. So throughout the stream today, I will not be able to shout out subs as I normally do and donations as I normally do. I would really appreciate it. Obviously, I appreciate any and all support, but I would really appreciate it if you were going to place a donation, that you do it in between games. That way it doesn't spam during the games and ruin the viewer experience for the tournament. Spanish, Mongols, and Italians there for Liereyy too. Jam Vander, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much. I'm actually on edge. I'm on edge because my mind is just going crazy trying to think of all the different matchups we could see. Okay, there's Japanese. Let's see what else. You know what? We could see Chinese, but if you have a rough start with Chinese, it's always difficult. Vikings would be another good pick. Byzantines, okay. So how many people are excited we're going to see different civs this time? I certainly am. Malay was not chosen yet. That's one civ I'm surprised was not chosen yet. There's Chinese for Liereyy.
Go, Larry.
Vikings. Maybe someone will be tempted to go for Koreans. I'm thinking it would be Slavs or Malay. Or Vietnamese out of the last 3. Or Goths. I don't know. There's a lot of civs now. I guarantee you they have looked at this draft before and just thought about what civs would be banned from their opponent and what they would choose. But still, it's very, very difficult to think about the civ matchups here. And There's slabs for Hearttt, and Liereyy gets the last pick before game 1 starts. Mastery says greetings from India. Well, greetings, India. And there's Malay for the final pick for Liereyy. So take one more look at it. Screenshot it if you want reference during the series. I will show you guys, but these are the civilizations that will be available for these players throughout the games today. It is a best of 7, and I'm hyped. Lord Troll, welcome back for 4 months. I am going to do the bets for this series, guys. However, as you know, I normally let the bets extend. Oh, man, let's slow down. I normally let the bets extend into the game. I'm not going to do that too much here because I want the focus in the chat to be on the actual game and not the relic spam. So I'm going to do 2 minutes for the bet. So if you know how to place the bets on the stream today, go ahead and do that and make it quick. And I've launched them now. You guys should have already seen that in the chat.
Hope the new sofa is nice, pal.
Fruit of Dreams. I didn't get it yet, but I hope it is nice. It looks like I'm going to have a couple snow days ahead of me as the snow just pours down outside. It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. So, who are you guys rooting for? I know you might have predictions, but who do you want to win here? We've seen Liereyy do an incredible job in this tournament, but he did have an easier route than Hearttt. I would say Hearttt had the second most difficult route, or most difficult path to the semis. So Hearttt beat Doubt, he beat Tato. Those are 2 players that a lot of people predicted to be in the semis and maybe even in the final. Hearttt, but Liereyy will win. I don't know who I'm rooting for. I think that I have a lot of respect for Liereyy after meeting him in Europe and having conversations with him. I think for maybe he's 16 now, but I found out he was 15 when he was in Germany. So it is a lot of maturity as a gamer and as a human being for such a young age, I think. And he also knows how to handle pressure. And that's the one thing about Viper everyone has always talked about, where if Viper falls behind, he's one of those players that can still punish you if you make a mistake and come back because he doesn't lose his cool. And there are a lot of players at the high level of any esport or any sport that simply cannot handle the pressure sometimes. MBL will be stopping by later on today, probably for Game 2 onwards, so we are going to get some expert co-casting. So I'm excited for that. MBL just can't make it for the first game. But thank you all for the support so far today. See ya, Evil. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Chat, let's get some hypes up in there. Hopefully we won't have too many T90 fine moments. We don't want the T90 fine moments today where the world is burning down and they try and make it seem like it's okay. Hopefully it's pretty neck and neck in all these games and we go to all 7 games. Watch your boar. MBL will steal it. Yeah, he might do that. He might do that. They still have not started the game, so we have a couple minutes yet, guys. What's up, Drakon? Welcome to the stream. Nope, there's no way to extend the bets. I'm sorry. I'd have to cancel them all over again. I'm going to do 2 minutes for every single game, so you got to be on it. You got to be on it. I don't want a lot of focus to be on the bets today. Mastery, I just said, man. I just said that I'm going to have MBL co-casting. I literally just said that. How's your Patreon going? Things have been going very well with that, JJ. The one video that I want to upload will be a little bit later than scheduled, but that'll be coming soon. Could you give your view on the top 3 worst civs as is now? Okay, so since we have the time, why don't we do this? We'll go back to the civ draft for those that may have missed it. These are the civilizations that were globally banned, and these are the civs that each player gets to use for the games. This is why I can't answer your question. I can't answer your question to tell you what the 3 worst civs are, because it depends on civ matchups, and it's not mirror matchups. So truthfully, it depends. I can make an argument for Koreans, for example, being the worst civ, but if they're versus civilization where they can perform their tower rush tactics and their siege tactics, then it can work out. And it all depends on the style of the players, too. So I simply can't answer that question in this game. A lot of people say, what is the best civ? And the answer is always, it depends. That's what makes this game good. There's no exact answers on things. Like, let's look at the civ matchups quickly. Let's see. Okay, they still haven't started. So, for example, let's see here. Spanish is a civilization that will go man-at-arms towers a lot in 1v1s and try and get to conquistadors. But if they're versus civilization that can pressure them early, like the Malay, they might not have much of a shot. Again, I go back to the word it depends, because it depends on the strategy choices, but I guess if Liereyy had Goths, then that would be the one counter to all the archer civs that Hearttt could have, but Goths was not chosen, sadly. Yeah, I mean, I would say Berbers is arguably the best civ right now. But you guys get my point. Never seen anyone other than Dave Cocast. Well, MBL and I have known each other for a long time. Back when I first started streaming, MBL was getting around the viewers he does now, like 200 to 400 people watching his live stream. And I was getting 10 viewers. So when I first started streaming, MBL was an integral part of boosting the numbers in my stream and letting people know there's a new caster out there. And now, of course, we both host each other now, but yeah, things have changed. I did used to co-cast with a lot more people in the past, but nowadays, I really aim for this to be very professional, and Dave and I have such good synergy that it just doesn't make sense to bring in other co-casters, especially if our styles don't match. Dave thrives in the co-caster role, and most of the other casters in the community thrive in the main caster role, as do I. So they kind of butt heads at times. Yeah, we can get Donnie in here to co-cast, but he might die a couple times during the cast. If you had to play a best of 21 mega random map using only one civ, which civ would you pick? That's way too specific, man. I don't know. I don't know. See, most of these civs here, back to the civs since the game hasn't started. Oh wait, it's gonna start. Never mind, get hyped. Get hyped, it's gonna start in a couple minutes. I was just going to say that most of the civilizations in that list had some sort of eco bonus attached to their civ strengths. And that's why you don't see civs like the Saracens chosen, because they don't have a strong eco bonus. And there's some other examples too. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going into Game 1, King of the Desert semifinals between Liereyy and Hearttt in just a moment. All right, and here we are. Welcome, guys, to Game 1, King of the Desert semifinals between Liereyy and Hearttt. These players have advanced to the semis, beating a lot of top players, and they have 7 different civilizations that they both have 7 different civilizations that they can use, and there was 4 global bans, which means we're going to see different civs than we saw in the early stage of the tournament. In the blue is Liereyy. He's playing as the Mongols, and in the red we have Japanese for Hearttt. And the other cool thing about this is that these guys train together a lot, so they probably are well aware of each other's style. All right, so I'm going to look at the maps, and we'll talk about the civ matchups. This is normally very fast-paced. We might see early laming from Liereyy because it's a good laming civ, and he's finding all of his sheep. But anyway, he has backstone here. He has a woodline. Actually, what I wanted to do was change the scroll speed slightly for viewers. So he has a woodline here and a woodline here. His main gold's forward on this hill. He can wall off here as time goes on, but it's still open. And he has his second and a third gold there. Actually, all of his golds are somewhat forward. This is actually one of his 4-tile golds, main gold, 4-tile gold, and then a third secondary or, neutral gold. So the front of this base is kind of questionable for Liereyy, but as Mongols, they're normally going to have a very quick start because they can collect the food faster. You look at Heartt's base now, woodline on the left-hand side, woodline forward, and a woodline on the right, which he is now choosing. Now he has his golds all in the same spot on the hill. Yeah, that's nasty. That's nasty. He has seen this. He could choose to call a re, but personally, I would not call a re in the first game of the tournament. Or if you're going to call it, you wait till the very last second. You don't want to call a re so early because you might get maps that are even worse next time. But beyond that, I noticed that there's not a lot of walling opportunity for players unless they're going to wall out their golds. The Japanese are very militia heavy, so they might go with a drush, they might go with man-at-arms into archers. The Mongols, they can do a lot. They can do the early scout rush, or they can do the early man-at-arms themselves and go into archers. Now, this matchup's a little bit more exciting than it was in the past, because Japanese can now play the same meta as Mongols, because they can justify their knights, because they get bloodlines in the expansions. The only thing they can't get is camels, which Mongols can get, so I do actually favor Mongols because of the matchups available. But the cool thing about Japanese is the mills are cheaper, the lumber camps are cheaper, the mining camps are cheaper, and thus you can drush faster. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. That was the timer on my phone for the chicken I put in the oven yesterday. My bad. But anyway, there's more versatility for Japanese because of the resources they save with that. So we have a 4 on wood start for Liereyy, which could indicate he's going to build that early barracks. And no rehost for either player. And here comes Liereyy now, and this is the struggle. Because what's going to happen here is this boar is going to be brought in shortly by Heartt. The villager's going to come this way. Heartt does not have loom, and Lierey's going to pull MBL style and think about laming the villager as the villager's bringing it back. And wow, Heartt must have spotted this, and this is a beautiful job from Heartt. Now he all needs to do is send this villager and get one hit on Lierey's scout, and that'll force Liereyy to run away. And, oh, I will say, nice move from Liereyy, because the villager's getting the boar, and Liereyy got on top of this hill, and he's forcing Heartt back. This scout is very close to going down, but both scouts going to be low HP, it seems. A nice aggression there. And I love how Liereyy had the confidence to stick around, try and get the scout victory. Now here Liereyy with the barracks, and he's going to click up after loom for sure. We'll see if he builds a mining camp, if he wants to go man-at-arms, or if he plans on going scouts. And normally you see a second lumber camp if someone's going scouts, but as Mongols, sometimes you go up so early, you can't justify that as much. Well, we'll see there. And Heartt, just now getting loom, he is going up later, he will have some more economy for it, and he's building the mining camp to go man-at-arms. And Heartt's going to lose his scout. So, better start for Liereyy. Look at Heartt scouting. Somehow Liereyy able to spot Heartt scout as it came across, and Lierey's also luring in some deer as well. These are Rudolph, by the way, because I have the Christmas mod. It's snowing outside, it's Christmassy, so I think it works. So yeah, nice food boost from Mongols because they hunt faster. And also Heartt does not know what his opponent is going to be planning. He's up almost a whole minute after his opponent here. Second lumber camp, and he is preparing the man-at-arms. Liereyy with his early advantage will be building a stable. 100% sure about that now. And we'll see what the early scout fight can do. Liereyy, of course, already has a scout out on the field to scout his opponent. But also, if Heartt doesn't notice that this is the weak one, this scout will get some extra attack hits during the fights. An idle from Heartt. This is obviously just a small misclick. Instead of clicking the tree, just clicking to the left. Yeah, okay, he realized now. I'd probably be feeling very confident if I was Liereyy right now. With this civilization, and also after the early conflict with the scout, he can see everything. He's looking for the army, and the army we have not seen yet either. From Heartt. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Heartt did make one militia, right? Or did he cancel it? Did I see it in the... I think he's going to go straight archers. But I thought he had a militia queued up. No men-at-arms and just archers instead. This is where this one scout changes the complexity of this entire game. So this one scout has shown Heartt's
18
hand.
months and still going strong.
Or has seen Heartt's hand, rather. So we're going to see scouts, and then Heartt's going to say, okay, I can mass scouts, do early damage to economy. I can actually kill archers until they mass, and then we'll add an earlier archery range. If Liereyy didn't see that, his archery range at home would be much later, and for now, he's going to run in. The gold is so exposed for Heartt, he cannot afford to lose ground here. And a forward spear for Liereyy, and he's just basically building this spear to cancel out Heartt's spear because he has nothing else to do so. Scout's not taking any hits. And this is just all beautiful from Liereyy just to distract his opponent and harass his opponent. Forcing Heartt to get housed. He's actually going to fight the spear now. As the third scout comes in, he did lose the weak one. Half HP on one of the new ones. And you can tell Heartt is struggling now because he cannot find some room to breathe. He's fighting spears with spears and his villagers are walled in. And right as I say that, Lierey's coming back. And back at home, of course, Liereyy going to be adding the archery ranges.
Glad that you are able to cast this much. T90 wood.
Oh man, this is really bad for Heartt. This is really bad for Heartt. And great micro from Liereyy as well. He's going to find one vill pick at least. And notice how he sent another scout over here to try and get this villager. Everything is going wrong for Heartt. And he's just scrambling over spears. But every time he does, it doesn't matter. Liereyy going to go for the weak vill and then run away. He's done so. Liereyy with 2 extra villagers. He's researching wheelbarrow earlier. And he has his own archery range. And he's going to be creating skirmishers. This is exactly what I said. Liereyy keeping his scout alive early on. Could see what his opponent was doing. Also, he was going to have an advantage with Mongols anyway. There's just dead vill bodies everywhere at Heartt's base. And when you're creating spears, it's never ideal because that's wood you might need for archers. And that is food you might need for your TC and your upgrades. And point proven here, Liereyy already has fletching for the skirmishers that are going to come across. Blacksmith just now being built by Heartt. In fact, Lierey's getting the defense upgrade for his archers as well. So his economy is stronger. Also, his position is stronger. But Heartt, he probably expects the skirmishers switch from Liereyy. He hasn't seen them yet. Palisade Gate, he needs to wall this off now. He's going to have fletching, he'll have a few archers, and he will have some of his own skirmishers. And here come the skirms for Liereyy. Liereyy doesn't have many scouts to accompany these skirms. It's just about taking trades now for Liereyy. I think that these skirms are just to cancel out the archers from Heartt so he's not threatened back at home. But this is the one moment where Heartt could do some damage. He does have fletching. He has the numbers. This is the time where he needs to get a couple kills and push over to Lierey's base. And again, guys, I'm not going to be able to shout out subs or anything during the game because I'm focusing on the cast. But I do appreciate all your support, guys. Remember, Heartt did not research wheelbarrow yet. Liereyy researched wheelbarrow already, so when you research wheelbarrow in your town center, then that idles your TC. So, though the vill count looks even, it's actually not because Heartt will have to research wheelbarrow at some point. And great micro from Liereyy here. Using the scout, look at that. Look how many units he's killed here. Only losing one scout, kept all of his skirms alive. And with the armor on these skirmishers, Heartt can't do much with his archers. He needs to make his own skirms. And Lierey's still not losing anything. He's given Heartt the hill. This is just a delay move from Liereyy. And back at home, his economy booming up. Compare the resources. 34 food for Heartt. 500 food for Liereyy because of the early wheelbarrow. And the fact that he had more villagers working. And because he did not have as much idle time. And Liereyy, see, this is the one guy, I think, if we're talking about a micro fight, he is as good, if not better, than Viper. When I was in Germany, Viper said, I think Liereyy has best micro in the game right now. These little splits here, look at all the skirmishers, or the skirms, or the, technically they're spears, I don't know, in the grounds there. Liereyy has not taken any losses with his skirms yet, and taking another trade. This is just insane. Javelins, I guess? I don't know. Don't judge me, chat. I just call them skirms. That's what I call them. He took a couple losses there. The beautiful thing for Liereyy right now is he already has a stable. And he's going to click the castle soon. So what he has done here is force his opponent to make his own skirms. And if he's going to click the castle first, one knight can clear all of this up. I hope he can add in his own archers now. He's on his way to Castle Age, and Heartt is just so far behind in this game. He has a lot of gold he couldn't use. He wanted to make archers, which is why he was collecting all this gold, but then he was forced back into skirmishers. He lost so many villagers. He needs to do damage before the Castle Age upgrade hits for Liereyy, and he needs to do a lot of damage. But Liereyy, he's trying to play it safe here. He's built an outpost because he knows this is the direction he's not covering. He's covering in front of his gold. Adding that second stable, so he will go knights. And now he sees the units coming over. And he's getting scale barding now. If he was tempted to, if he didn't feel confident in his micro, he could always create a couple scouts here too. But so far the micro's been enough, and this is going to be a close fight. I think it'll just be 50-50 trade. And that's not what Hearttt needs now. He needs more than a 50-50 trade. And yeah, the skirms have no archers accompanying them, so they're not going to contribute much to the economy rating aspect of this game. And I think maybe if Hearttt stonewalls now, maybe if Hearttt is completely walled, oh geez. I was going to say maybe then he could hold till castle, but check this out. He's clicked up the castle before archers coming in. That T90 hole there. There's always a hole, right? Let's see what Hearttt can do now that the archers are in his base. The archers will probably get upgraded, and all skirmishers he has out on the map will die. It's game one. You never want to call the GG this early, but look at Liereyy with that small sneak. He didn't know there was a hole there, but he just went for it. And 2 villagers down. We could see 1 more maybe because of the hill advantage. Hearttt actually microing her, but no, not going to be enough. And now Liereyy has such a huge head start now, guys. He's going for the second town center. Doing everything right. He wasted some stone, or he used some stone for the outpost earlier, so he's collecting a little bit more so he can build the 3rd TC. Still microing these archers, even though he's outnumbered. And he hasn't even upgraded them. It's unfortunate for Hearttt because maybe he would have been okay if there wasn't a hole in that wall, but he lost a lot of villager time, and you can tell because of all the expired farms. Heartt's economy has not been good. The 2 knights gonna clear the skirms, and this is a great position for Liereyy regardless of any fight. Because he's ahead in vills, he will continue to be ahead in vills. And he's gone for the defensive siege workshop, just in case Hearttt does have a lot more crossbows than he's looking to deal with right now. The knights have just a defense upgrade, that's all he's invested in. He hasn't even gotten any ranged upgrades. And he could send the Mangonel forward at this rate. Again, we're in a situation where Hearttt needs to do damage. The Japanese was the first pick from Hearttt. He's a good man-at-arms style player, and he didn't get to do that. You could tell right after the early scout conflict, he was not confident in doing that, and I think Mongols, I mean, maybe Liereyy mind-gamed him a little bit. I would have thought Mongols would have been safer later on, because it's such a strong civ. And maybe he expected Japanese from Hearttt. Again, they have trained so many games together offline or off stream, so no one was able to cast them or anything. It kind of sucks when you're up against your training partner who knows all your secrets in a tournament. But that has happened in the past. Viper and Jordan had the same thing going on. There are 53 vills for Liereyy. He's sending the Mangonel forward, which will completely cancel out these crossbows and allow his knights to get in closer. And actually, Liereyy, recognizing that husbandry is now a bit cheaper, and he's going to get husbandry so he can chase these crossbows down. There's a monk for Hearttt. Now, that one monk could help him out in a big way. If he gets a knight conversion, and knight conversion means that he can then kill the Mangonel with a knight. But still, Hearttt is playing very defensive. He's building town centers, but he is behind in the town center count, I believe. Well, he's going to be even, but yeah, we're about to see the 3rd TC for Liereyy, and he's already so far ahead in bills. Such a cool game here. I think it's important at this stage, if you're Hearttt, I'm talking looking further down the line. If you do lose this game, you don't get frustrated. You know it's a bad start. You know you're playing versus Mongols, and you're playing versus Liereyy, who excels in the early aggression. So definitely try here. Treat this as a warm-up game if you feel like you're actually dead. I don't think he's necessarily dead, but it's going to be very difficult for him to come back. And yeah, just you know, just think about your plans in the future. Think about what civ you want to choose next, and what civ you think Liereyy will choose next. But I mean, Liereyy is in such a good position. These crossbows will do nothing forward. And he's out here, and he's just going to force more walls from his opponent. In fact, no, he's not going to get in. I thought he maybe could slide in there. But nope, not going to happen. Liereyy covering all his bases. He has elite skirmisher. 2 mangonels. Hearttt forced to send the crossbows around to try and pick off some of these knights. I think if you're Hearttt, you stay on 2 TCs and you click to imp. And you go for early imp, less economy, and try and do it that way. Because if you try and play Lierey's game, you're not going to catch up in the vill count. I think he needs to go as early as possible to the Imperial Agent push. And then he will potentially be up against the Mangadai from Mongols, depending on if Liereyy collects that stone. So I think he needs to stick with the Arbalest. Now this is the very first time. This is going to be fun, because the very first time that Hearttt has seen these skirmishers. And oh man, the knights are now upgraded. They have bloodlines. They still have the defense upgrade. And there's a Mangonel here too. Redemption just completed from Hearttt. And Liereyy realizing it. Redemption allows the monks to convert siege. Now that was the trick that Hearttt was trying to pull, but he didn't know the skirmishers were going to be here. And he's going to be running back home once again. So again, a better trade. Even though the Mangonel had to be deleted, a much better trade for Liereyy because he killed those monks. He's killed so many crossbows. And again, he didn't need to take that fight. Like, he could have sat back at home and waited for it. He doesn't need to run forward. But he's just cementing his position in this game. I think, as good as Redemption is, it's not very easy to pull off with skirmishers here, because ranged units can kill the monks. Look at the micro from... Look at the micro from... Look at the distract! It took Hearttt a couple shots to realize that Liereyy was distracting there. I think it's GG, and yep, there's the GG call from Hearttt. What a game 1 from Liereyy. It seemed like he had everything under control that entire game. You gotta say that Mongols is still a force to be reckoned with. When you can up that early and get that good of map control, you can do a lot. Especially after Liereyy kept his scout alive. It was so important to know that his opponent was not going man-at-arms, so he could be aggressive and go forward and cancel out the archers. Relatively quick game, but it is a best of 7, and we will see the second game in a moment. Ornlu, thank you for the 4 months. Ifane, welcome back. It's been a while, man. Thank you for the 14. K-Bomb, welcome. Mickey, thank you for gifting the sub to him. Here's the kill-death ratio for you quickly, guys. Such a stronger economy for Liereyy. And alright, game 2 coming up. Alright, so we're going to get MBL in here quickly, because the game will start.